Show. The Drew and Fuse Show. The Drew and Fuse Show. They clean up nicely. It's the Drew and Fuse Show. The Drew and Fuse Show. The Drew and Fuse Show. Yeah, they clean up nicely. Yeah.
Hey, Drew Pierce here from Long Beach, California.
And I am not Fusemania from Cincinnati, Ohio.
And let me tell you something about me that really burns my ass recently, and it's tipping. Have you ever been through a drive-through where they're sticking their head out the window with the card reader and they're trying to get you to leave a tip on the drive-through?
Pisses me off, man. I'm with you. You know, though, I went through Jack in the Box this morning for a breakfast Sammy because I'm fat. Guess what? No tip. So why should I tip her, the Starbucks lady, and not the Jack in the Box lady who's probably, let's be honest, working 3 times as hard?
Hey, listen, I don't make the rules. I just tip by the rules, I guess. I don't know.
So the Starbucks people get it, but the Jack in the Box people don't.
If you guys are just tuning in, Drew, in a couple episodes ago, just went in on how he hates tipping and how the world is now. Everybody in the United States is getting tipped, and he just wants things to cost what they cost. Just build the tip in if that's what it takes. If the coffee is now $7, he's fine with it as long as he doesn't have to tip.
Don't put that dumb little logo on where I have to decide whether it's 10, 15, or 50% tip.
There it is. If you're booking Drew for a wedding here soon, don't give him a tip.
Well, that just goes to show I don't expect a tip, and it's not on my form to before I do any service or before I've tasted the fucking coffee that I get a tip, right?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Do you bring like a bell or something with you that you set up behind your DJ booth that you ring if the couple gives you a tip?
Bing! We got a winner.
If not, I think that's something you could charge extra for. You know, like an upsell for a wedding is the tip bell. Anytime somebody tips, you just ring it.
Be a huge hit with the kids these days.
Yeah, and they have to pay you to bring it, so it's like it's all the stuff, you know. It's amazing.
Let's put my Venmo barcode out so they could scan it.
I'm telling you, there you go. You just got a giant, like, you know, in your Toad booth, maybe just the whole front of the Toad booth, the TV is just your Venmo, and like you're at the wedding and you're like, just pay me more.
It could scroll through Venmo, Zelle, Cash App, actual cash, my checking routing number.
Yeah, I think that would be good. I think it would be good if you just gave out all that information. I think people would definitely be willing to give you the money. Anyway, if you're into saving money, we have a couple things here that can do that for you. One would be using the promo code Drew and Fuse Show at directmusicservice.com. It'll save you 30% off your first month of activation. That is promo code Drew and Fuse Show. Also, if you're into saving money and you have a beard, you can go over to Briggs Beard Company and you could save 20% off your order by using promo code DAFS, D-A-F-S. And if you want your beard looking nice and smooth, Drew's going to demonstrate it for you here on how to do it. That's the drops of Jupiter all over his face. Some people pay big money for that, like I said. Anyway, Briggs Beard Company, no nitroglycerin included. Also, if you're interested in turning your parties up to an 11, we suggest that you check out Club Cannon. And the link below in the video description will get you $25 off your purchase of $250 or more. Your party will never be an 11 unless you have a Club Cannon. With that being said, we have a nice guest for you guys today. You're probably very familiar with him already. If you are a fan of DMS and you've used the promo code, you might have seen his face on the site before. You might have heard his voice on the site before. He is 1/3 of the 5 on 5 podcast. He's a Las Vegas resident DJ. He started the Paradise Fever disco party. He's been DJing a little here at On the Record or Off the Record. I can't remember what it's called, but he's been playing with the Anderson Paak, who's been doing some stuff there. Been doing vinyl sets, which is pretty cool. Please help us welcome Neek Lopez.
What's up, guys? How are you? Thanks for
What's
having
up?
me.
Thank you for being here.
Yo.
Do you need some Briggs Beard Company like oil for your stash?
I was just thinking if they I imagine it's gonna work just as well on a mustache as a full beard. Your guys' beards look great. I can't grow all that. So
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think this is like I think there's a mustache.
oh, there's a mustache specific.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one we need.
Twirl it out.
You know
Drew,
what
show him.
happens?
Do you have the chapstick holder? I think you need to show
yeah.
him that. Look at this. This is the freshest thing ever. It's a tool belt chapstick holder. You can
Oh, I
attach it
like
to your
that.
belt. Like,
You know, I could use something like that because I am an avid chapstick user. I pride myself on never losing chapsticks. I finish them always, and I will
dang,
lose my
that's
mind.
an accomplishment.
Yeah, commitment issues where I don't have any. I'm
You have a specific brand that a go-to.
blue moisturizing chapstick or just regular black, like just the original, but no flavors, no. But it has to be chapstick brand. I don't mess with the medicated like ones like Burt's Bees and things like that. I feel like they make it worse.
Chapstick is one of those things like it's like eye drops. Once you start using it, it's you're stuck. There's no going back.
And I don't think I can ever not use it. And if I use any other kind, it like fucks with me. But like if I don't have my chapstick for like 10 minutes, I'm
10 minutes.
like I will lose my mind. I feel
So-
like SpongeBob out of water.
How do we feel about making eye contact while applying chapstick?
It's very intimate. It's an intimate experience. So if you're gonna do that, you need to know that there's gonna be repercussions. You're going to get a reaction. So I mean, you just got to choose if you're ready for that, be it positive or negative. You know, you might make somebody uncomfortable or you might arouse someone. So you just got to be ready. A lot of responsibility comes with eye contact.
I just feel like anytime I put on chapstick, Electric Light Orchestra is gonna play, and I'm gonna be like Steve Buscemi and Billy Madison, and it's gonna be like, doobie doobie wop, do do.
And I have like I have a certain way of doing it too. Like I'm not just like a top bottom swip swap. I'm 2 to 3 times bottom lip, and then I do the rub together. So like if I'm doing it and looking at you, you're watching me. Like I'm doing a lot of smooching, like facial expression.
It's getting pretty.
You're
intense,
counting
is
this
what you're saying.
1, 2.
I'm like 1,
3.
2, 3, rub.
All right.
Oh,
With a kiss
man.
and a
All right.
twist.
Yeah, a little smooch right on someone's forehead just to dab it off.
That's how you apply the chapstick.
That's how I apply it every
chapstick
10
brand.
minutes.
If you were listening, he needs a sponsorship. He needs it.
Yeah.
Let's
see.
get this brand a little more sex appeal.
So, you want to get into some rapid fire, Drew? Is that what we want to do?
Yeah, sure. Let's kick it off.
All right, I'm going to play this video and then we'll get started with some rapid fire.
It's now time for rapid fire.
All right, rapid
That's
fire.
pretty sick.
What is your drink of choice?
Water and coffee are basically the only liquids I drink, and then a sugar-free Red Bull, like
Okay.
before I DJ.
Yeah,
All right.
I always go with the sugar-free Red Bull too. I like it the way it tastes better than the regular Red Bull.
You know, I don't know what it is about me, but I know I'm not supposed to be drinking Red Bull, so I like to get the most foul-tasting one possible to remind myself I'm not supposed to be drinking it. If I get one in the streets, I get the total zero because it tastes even more like battery acid. So
That's
I
the one
enjoy
thing
the
I
way
know.
it tastes.
That's the one thing I know. I wake up in the morning and I could tell if I had a Red Bull. It just gives me that hangover. I can't.
Mhm.
It's something about that energy drink that gives me a hangover.
I
It's
love
like,
coffee, but it gives me like I get the coffee lag immediately, and I'll need like a nap. Red Bulls and just energy drinks in general, like they feel like a pre-workout. Like those motherfuckers work. And so like road trips, DJ sets, I just get a Red Bull because I know I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna regret it for sure, but I don't get the crash immediately.
Do you not drink alcohol at all?
No, I don't drink.
How long has
This
that been a thing for you?
it's been like it's been 2 years now. Prior to that, I drank for like 4 months, like during the pandemic, and then it was 2 years prior to that.
Wow.
So in almost, like 4 years with a little 4-month thing in the middle.
Is there a reason behind it, or just do you feel you're just more yourself?
When I first got into sobriety or like started messing with the idea of sobriety, I did drink a lot and I partied a lot. And this is before I was like professionally DJing, like full time, so I could afford to like not be a big deal. But I drank a lot. I did like recreational drugs and I smoked weed every day. And I was just like Paradise Fever, my disco party was starting to get rolling. And I was just thinking, man, like at the end of my day, I would go home and I would get these like anxious, self-conscious feelings, like worrying about like my interactions with people. Like, why did I say that to them? Why did I act this way? And I was like becoming very self-conscious. And I was like, I can't do what I'm doing, being a professional DJ and entertainer if I'm insecure, like, and I'm feeling like down on myself. So I was like, maybe and it was like kind of low-key making me depressed. And so I was just like, maybe, I should start considering like slowing down on my consumption. Maybe that's helping. So I started with, all the recreational hard drugs, cut that out. Because easiest step, right? Like just start at the top.
Yeah.
So no more cocaine, no more Molly, all that stuff. We're done. And so I just smoked weed every day and drank it basically every day. Eventually, and also just drinking gets you in trouble. Eventually was like, I still feel like shit. Like I still don't feel good about myself. So I was like, all right, well, let's slow down on the booze. Like, let's just cut down. Like, only when we're out, and I'll give myself a 2 drink. Still felt like shit. And eventually I was just like, what the fuck is 2 drinks? Like, why am I even having 2 if I'm not getting smashed? So I was thinking like, I'll just go down to 1. I'm like, I'm not even, the 1 doesn't even matter. So it's 2 drinks or it's nothing. So I just stopped drinking. That took a few tries because eventually, like you can't just turn it off if you've been drinking every day. Quit that. Still found myself feeling like shit. And I realized that it's the paranoia that comes from smoking weed. And this is after like 16 years, 18 years of smoking weed, most of my life at this point. Yeah, once I quit that, I just was full blown sober and mentally, combined with therapy, I've been a lot more clear. Now we're stuck on coffee.
I love it. I never enjoyed weed.
I
So
loved weed. I've tried weed a few times just to make sure that I'm done with weed. And I'm totally done with weed. It's so weird. I always expected myself to be like a Willie Nelson, Snoop Dogg type guy that just smokes weed his whole life. Because
yeah.
I smoked all day, every day. Like that's just how I lived. And so it's weird to like, even now it's been like 3, maybe 4 years of not smoking. And I'm like, this is bizarre. Like it's still like, man, that was such a major part of my life.
I did a lot when I was younger, and I felt like I already have a hard enough time just getting the words out. And I felt like when I smoked, it was absolutely impossible for me to even talk.
Yeah, those brain cells don't come back once they're gone.
Yeah, no.
So, all right. So, moving forward with another question. This is always the not so rapid fire. Who is a favorite remixer or producer of yours?
I'll give you 2 because 80% of my DJ sets these days just feel like it. Nick Bike and Nopa Slaps.
Okay.
Oh, and King Most also. King Most. So I know I'm supposed to give 1, but those 3 guys are in fucking rotation always for me.
Who is King Most, Nick Bike, and who? I'm
Nopa Slaps. Nopa Slaps.
And if we were coming to Vegas, where would you take us to eat?
I'm taking you guys to my favorite coffee shop / brunch place, Publicus downtown. Out of all the coffee shops I've been to around the country, I think we have something special. I think Publicus really is like a special coffee spot. I hate to be like a home barista coffee nerd, but not to get too deep into it, those guys know what they're doing over there, and the food is great.
I haven't got that deep into it, but I'm starting to get there because I just want straight tar for coffee. And one Starbucks is asking me for tips, which is already pissing me off. So I'm gonna have to start making my own coffee at home, so that I don't have to tip them. And
you were talking about that, and I really, it's funny. Marketing's crazy because for a long time I'd go to the drive-thru at Starbucks, and I'm like, dude, I feel bad. They never ask for tips in the drive-thru because you give them the card, they just take it. But now they started giving me the chip reader.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, do I got a tip on the drive-thru? And like now you're going on about Jack in the
guys,
Box. I don't tip them. Like
the guy's holding out the window trying to get my buck, which is fine. It's just that I felt like I was in a rush and I was being forced into it. Well, I won't get back down that pipeline of that, but making coffee, it's made me want to start making coffee at home. I want like just a tar, something.
Ashley got us some of these frozen coffees. Have you guys seen that? It's called Cometeer. They are very tasty. You just make hot water. We have a little electric, water heater. Yeah, and it heats up in like 60 to 90 seconds. And then you get basically what my process with it is. Right? Yeah, you take it out of the freezer, you let it sit there while the water's heating up, and then when you open it, you can like basically squeeze it into the cup because it's just defrosted enough. And then when you pour the water over to it, it like turns it into, it melts it. But it's really, really good. I've never really drank coffee just black, but this coffee is so flavorful. And like, I have to take Alex Nepa's word for it because he's like a coffee connoisseur too. And one of the things he was saying when he looked up the Cometeer that they use a lot of like good like high end like roasting brands or companies like for the coffee, but it's really good and it's really easy. And I like that if I drink a cup and pour it out, like that's it. It's like the perfect amount. Or if you wanted a little, not as strong, you just add a little more water to it or whatever too. So it's kind of. I like it. Okay, this is a question specifically to you. What is the most valuable record in your collection?
So that changes because records, fluctuate. I have a pretty wild James Brown collection. I have one in there that's definitely like at this point it's got to be. I have like an OG in the Jungle Groove, so that one's like $250, I think, right now. And it's like pretty good condition. My De La Soul records are all crazy right now. Yeah, those records are going for quite a bit. And my Frank Oceans, those are pretty expensive too.
I don't have a big record collection like you or even Phenom, but I have a small little collection. And my most valuable one is I have a King Records pressed James Brown live from the Apollo. So I'll have to send you a picture of it and show you that one. But sick. King Records was here in Cincinnati too, so that's kind of why I was like.
Oh, so you guys probably have a lot like in your dollar.
You could probably find more here. I'm not sure. I'm not going to sit here and say that I go out and look for them all the time, but occasionally if I stumble into a spot, I'll look for stuff for, if I go to a garage sale or, like a, what do you call it? Like a flea market or something like that. I'll check it out.
But flea markets and garage sales out here are trash because it's like Vegas's music history is like the 60s and the 50s. So we get a lot like Engelbert Humperdinck and like Rat Pack stuff, just nothing funky.
Yeah,
Christmas albums.
Yeah, hella Christmas albums. Like a lot of like bossa nova, because like mid-century, that's like desert shit. So like a lot of like tiki albums and shit like that. Like so you gotta go like to get good shit. You gotta go to a shop. Like you ain't never or like a private seller. Like you're very rarely do you come up at like a thrift store or type shit.
Right.
So while we're on the record kick. If you had to pick one song as your theme song that would follow you everywhere, what would it be?
Like a wrestling situation, or just like
just like
man on
like you walk in to get your coffee at the coffee shop and it starts playing. Like it just follows you everywhere you're going. Like it's just
Ooh, Superman Lover. Yeah,
Superman lover. All right.
yeah, Superman Lover is definitely my man on the street song. You know the Spider-Man with Toby where he's walking through and James Brown's playing, he's like pointing at people and shit. That's Superman Lover for me.
All right, all right. If the dance floor's starting to clear and you're gonna pick a song to bring everybody back, what's the song that you're gonna choose? Or you can rattle a couple off if you want.
Let's see. What am I throwing out there? I'm in a unique place professionally as a DJ where I get to play whatever I want. So I mostly play lounges except for my residency at We All Scream, where it's more of a clubby setting, but definitely more dance music based. If I want it, my go-to when clearing the dance floor is I play classics. Like hit it something that all ages know. So I'm probably gonna hit you with like a Daft Punk song like Around the World. I've been playing 20 Fingers Short Dick Man lately and it goes off. Yeah, both of those. That's where I'm gonna hit you with right now. Or I know there's one more that I'm thinking of. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Those two are solid.
All right. And let's see here. We would love to hear a crazy or memorable DJ story, a night from the DJ booth that was great, maybe a night gone bad. It can be anything, just a memorable story.
I've been these last 2 years have been nuts, man. Like working at On the Record with Anderson .Paak in downtown with like some like wild like some crazy like house acts, like just people that I'm like I listen to in my free time, and then getting to like DJ for them or with them, like Usher at On the Record was wild. And getting to play Usher, my favorite Usher song, and having him be like, no shit, this is your like man. So I played him I'm trying to remember the name of it right now by singing. It's On My Way. It's the one with Lil' Kim. It's driving me nuts right now. I can't think of it. But played that for him, and he went nuts because he's like, this is an album cut, so nobody plays it.
Just like me.
Just like me.
Just like me. I know you get lonely. Yep. And I played that song, and he was like, no shit, yo. He's like, that's so, and he like came and like shook my hand. It was so cool. There was another night where
so he has a resident there. He's a resident there. So
they'll do like a month-long show, and then they do the after party On the Record.
And he actually comes every time.
He's there most times. And they deck out the whole room with like disco balls that look like peaches because, Atlanta. And there's like stripper poles in there, and there's like strippers like doing whole ass performances. It's crazy. And just like
go.
It's insane. It's so sick.
Maybe I do like Vegas.
There's cool parts. I get there's really cool shit to do out there. Or out here.
I'm opposite of Fuse. We just hung out together, and spending that week out in Vegas, I want to get a place out there. I'm thinking
you have a timeshare.
I really
Drew.
loved it.
I'm reminding you. Well, you have a timeshare. Drew just brought up to me that he has a timeshare. I've known him for years now. I've gone to Vegas multiple times together for years, and he's never mentioned this timeshare or that he has
what? We've been getting hotels.
So it's right next to the Cosmo, and of course I can't remember the name of it right at the moment, but they wanted to tear it down. Yeah, no, not the Polo Towers. They wanted to tear it down, and the Jockey Club.
Yeah. That's next. That's very close to Polo Towers.
Oh yeah, they wanted to tear it down, and there was a big vote for it, and they built around the Cosmo. They built around the Jockey Club, so it's like a pain in the ass to get to now. But
I completely forgot that was there. That's so funny. Yeah.
I always trade it. I used to stay there all the time, but now I just trade for it, and so that's why I blanked on the fact that I can stay there anytime I want. So, anyways,
hey, there it is. There was another night at On the Record where I was DJing Usher after party, and I always make the joke that everybody that all the DJs that DJ these after parties always end up having like a cool experience with the person, and I never get to meet them. Like It took so many times before I got to meet Anderson .Paak. It took a few times before I got to meet Usher. Like I'd get in and then they're like, okay, we're not opening till Usher gets here. And it's like the weird variable happens when I'm playing. So one day they're finally like, okay, we're opening because it's like a speakeasy. I'm playing for like the private room. Like, so it's the place you want to be if Usher is here because that's going to be his private room for him and all his friends. I'm in there DJing and this really fucking cool dude comes in. He's like got a crazy fit on and, you know, I be dressing. You know, I like to dress. So this guy comes in and I'm like, oh my God, your fit is crazy. And we're talking about our clothes now while I'm DJing. And we're just going back like, oh, what do you got on? What do you got on? He sits through like 2 hours of my set, literally just standing next to me, just vibing. And I'm just getting open. And I'm like, oh shit, this is Leon Bridges. Like it didn't even click in my head. I was like, oh, I'm just been sitting here
Damn.
vibing with Leon Bridges. And like I literally like it clicks finally because he had a hat on and glasses on. So I was like,
Yeah.
he's way too cool to just be some guy. Like,
Right.
and I look over and I'm like, oh my God. Like I said it like 2 hours later, I was like, I laugh and I go, I just realized who you are. And he's like, starts laughing. He's like, yo, I was like, fam, I was like, I can't even lie to you. Like, I am a really big fan. Like, I'm going to your concert next week. He was super cool. And I wish I had brought a record. Every time I know somebody's going to be around and bring a record, they always get stoked and signed it. He was super cool. And yeah, that's when it's funny because I shake hands with Anderson .Paak. I met Usher and all these other like really cool DJs. And, but Leon Bridges was the one that really got me like,
It's
because
amazing.
that's like something I'm really a fan of.
That's cool.
Had you played any Leon while you're there?
You know what's funny is earlier, like one of the songs I usually open with is Texas Sun, like just kind of to start the night off. And I was like, yo, I played Texas Sun like earlier today. I was like, I was just at the Khruangbin concert a month ago. I was like, this is fucking hilarious to me that I'm like, I just sat here and like chopped it up with you and your buddies like for 2 hours, not even realizing who you were.
Are you doing real actual vinyl sets in that room? Is that the
Uh-huh.
room you're playing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm bringing vinyl and stuff like that, and I'm just getting over. That night, for the Usher parties, because they have other DJs that come in. They prefer we play on laptops. So I had a laptop that day. But usually I have like a crate of records I bring in. Like for the Silk Sonic after parties, we play Wax.
And that's something the management pushes for?
They prefer like, so there's certain like they book certain guys for the Silk Sonic after parties because not everybody can play on Wax. Or just has records like that can make it work. The Silk Sonic after parties they push for Wax in that private room where he plays.
So I haven't been to that club. It's one club I really want to go to. There's the main room, there's the side room, and then there's another little speakeasy where they hang out.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So when you walk in, and there's like karaoke rooms, it's a small club, but there's a lot of shit going on.
Yeah.
So you walk in, and you're in the main room, and think of it like it's like a circle layout.
Yep.
And in the middle is the main bar. Behind the main bar, like to get to the back room, what they call the bus, it's like an outdoor patio area where the music is like true open format, throwbacks, genreless, like people are getting open. It's not like main room hip hop and R&B. There in between those two areas, there's a block and there's a wall where you push in. It's like a cassette tape wall. And you can't see the door, but if you push it, there's a door, and you end up in a speakeasy, like a little room, and there's like a tiny little DJ booth, just enough for like 2 turntables and a mixer, a little 2-well bar where they're making like craft cocktails, and maybe like 5 tables.
That makes sense because I
So
was at
tight.
that place once and I was looking for it and I couldn't find it. And
Yeah, it's like if you didn't know, the hallway where the cassettes are, and then there's like that
Yep.
photo booth area.
Mhm.
It's that wall.
Gotcha.
If you want to get into that room, like when a guest is there just a long ass crazy line to get in?
Yes.
Or-
So what? Like, oh, you mean like Usher or Anderson, like that type of shit?
Yeah.
Yeah. So at that point, everybody knows there's a big ass security guard at the door.
Right.
Uh,
Somebody's
and there's-
paid.
It's rope. There's a rope, and basically, like you have to have like the I know Usher wristband to get in there. And if you don't have it, you can't come in. Or the like I know Anderson .Paak. It was interesting for a while because when it first started, it was like it just happened. Like it wasn't like a planned like Anderson .Paak's coming to the club, he's gonna DJ. There was vinyl DJs in there. Eddie Mack was playing, and Anderson was like, "Hey, I used to DJ. Can I play some records?" And that's just how it happened. And he ended up playing till like 3 or 4 in the morning. So now it's like, okay, it's a planned thing. And he still plays in that private little area, but it's basically like for his friends and like people who paid for the VIP pass instead of being in the main room where everybody can see.
Makes sense.
Which you would think would be the move. That's kind of like the Vegas thing. Put the big DJ in the big room, but
I'm waiting for Vegas to start selling the club hopper pass, like the Disney park hopper, where like it's one pass and it gets you into all the clubs for the night and you get to skip the line.
basically, I think that's what's going to happen downtown because the same company owns like 80% of the building, like the clubs downtown. And I think once they finally get 100%, that's what you're going to get.
Yeah.
So I told my wife that she's like, what did you do that night? I went and saw you play. I guess it was Friday night.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, I just hopped around like 4 or 5 clubs. And she goes, oh yeah, I'm just hopping around clubs all night at 5
In
or 3
Vegas.
in the morning. Yeah, in Vegas. And it's funny you say that because I was thinking it was normal, and she's making fun of me like, oh yeah, I just bounce around to nightclubs.
I mean, they're
like,
literally
it's
right
something.
next door to each other. It's
Right,
not like
right.
you're taking a cab to go to like the Venetian and Wynn and Palazzo and all that, or whatever. Like,
But even then, I was telling her, without a hookup, it's impossible. You're just waiting back in another line. You can't go
you're
to more
paying
than
another cover. Like, it's
Yeah.
a good thing,
yeah. So, anyways.
Totally. On the record, who are some of the guys that you see playing like the main rooms a lot? I know I've been seeing some. It's just drawing blanks right now.
Yeah, so like one of my like fucking favorite DJs and like low key teachers, Four Eyes, he plays there a lot. Spider Tech, Soxy, she's in there a lot. A lot of like local, like the big local cats. It's more of a local spot until like there's like an after party for like Usher or Silk Sonic. Usher brings in his own DJs for the most part. Last night there was a DJ named PZB. I've never met her, but she was playing. And then in the speakeasy, they had Jay Crazy and Shalvoy, who is an unsung hero. Shalvoy, like that guy was a Paradise Garage card holder. Like that's the man. So a lot of guys like that, like local cats from the Mac agency are spend a lot of time on the record.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So one of the things we wanted to talk about too is you play in downtown a lot, and you already brought up that downtown is owned by primarily one company. That's where we had the DMS party. So if anybody's
Yes.
been listening recently, we had the DMS party at Commonwealth. The company that owns Commonwealth is who Neek plays for downtown, and Neek was very helpful in setting that party up. So thank you so much for
dude, of
that.
course, absolutely.
We really appreciate that. But one of the other things I wanted to mention before we talk about you and you playing there is we went to the Lucky Day afterwards, and Drew said it was the guy who was playing with you when he was just out there that next weekend. But dude, he was crushing it. I was having such a good time at that when we went over there afterwards.
That's so funny. So Gregory Michael Davis is his name. And that's his DJ name, is his government. First, middle, and last, don't forget it. Greg is the coolest. He
So
is
cool.
He is such an interesting cat. He wears a suit every day. And he hasn't been a DJ for very long, but he's been like into music for a very long time. I think he's been DJing like for 2 years or something like that. He started during the pandemic. But they paired us together for our residency. I've been DJing for like fucking, I don't know, a long fucking time. So when we got together, I was like, this guy's hella green. Like, I don't want to do this. Like, they put me up with somebody who doesn't know how to play. And this guy is a solid fucking party rocker. Like,
Yeah,
and
he
because
was
he's
crushing
so
it.
new, he like doesn't follow any of the like the DJ tropes or like the rules. Like, he just does
Right.
his thing. And I'm like, he crushes it every fucking time. Like, I love Greg. And so it was funny that night. I was texting him. Usually that night is like a slow night. And he's like, oh, it's a dead night over here. He's like, I'm so fucking tired. I just did a double because they do a trivia night at Lucky Day. And then he's got to play into the evening.
Mm-hmm.
So he just hosted trivia night, got there at 7 p.m. And he's like, I'm trying to get out of here at 1. I was like, buddy, I was like, one of the security guards just told me that the after party for this party is at Lucky Day. They're shipping everybody over to you. He's like, no fucking way. And I was like, and it's a room full of DJs.
You're like, oh,
And he's
it's
like,
not-
great. Like, again, he's still kind of new. So he's like, fuck, awesome, great, fantastic. He's like, I'm gonna start like killing this crowd. He's like, I'm gonna play like yacht rock and stuff. I was like, you're fucking up because again, room full of DJs, they're gonna love it. Like you play Toto, they're gonna lose their fucking minds.
Right.
dude, he
Sure
was
enough,
crushing it.
he tells me, he's like, oh, they all came over here. He's like, I take back everything. These guys were all fucking great. He's like, everybody's giving me cash tips and telling me how fantastic I am.
That's awesome.
Greg
Well,
is
we
the
all,
shit, man.
it goes back to what you were saying. We all want to hear something different, right?
Exactly. Like, I don't want to hear the same old shit.
It's like, impress me with
Especially as
your
a
music
DJ, like, we all
knowledge.
play the same fucking songs.
Yeah. Impress me with your music knowledge for sure.
So
no, it was
he's
fun.
just dropping some gems. So he was in there like trying to clear it out by playing some cuts, and everybody like obviously loved it. He's
Yeah.
like, no, those guys were all great. I had a blast.
That's hilarious. So
Yeah, it was good.
We were down there, and I guess the last time I went down there, I only went to Fremont Street. I didn't really pay attention to just a little bit past Fremont Street is where all these clubs are. And I just love the vibe. And I love all the names, and I love, the decor of what they're doing with it. Maybe if we could talk a little bit about, the come up of that.
Corner Bar Management is the name of the company. And they are, Ryan is doing like an amazing job, I think. Downtown prior to Corner Bar Management was still cool, a little more seedy. The block was still the block. This is East Fremont, they call it. So it's east of the Fremont Experience. And Beauty Bar was still there. The Griffin was still there. Lucky Day was called Vanguard. And Commonwealth hadn't existed yet. So when they built Commonwealth is when things changed. That was their first property. And then they started buying up the lot, basically, and created this brand where they own all the clubs. They built their own like in-house group of DJs that I got lucky enough to become a part of. Yeah, they're doing great things. Their venues are fantastic. They're very music like forward, so they make really cool bookings at their venues. A lot of disco house DJs for the dubstep and like bass music crowd. They do a lot of stuff like Nickel fucking Beer Night, where it's bass music based, and they get like big names, like underground names, like really cool. Like if you're in the scene, who these people are, and so they get like they make sure they're promoting the right people. Techno,
And
they do a lot of techno.
What spot
bookings.
is that? Like
Disco Pussy does a lot of
that's a Disco Pussy. Okay.
Disco Pussy does a lot of techno, bass music, and house. Commonwealth has, so there's this other party out here called Altura, Latin party, and they're crushing it. And they are at Commonwealth currently, and they're going to be moving on. I don't want to make any announcements for them, but they're going to be moving on to bigger and better things within the company. But they basically do a weekly takeover downtown. And We All Scream is the newest venue. Well, second newest. They just opened La Mona Rosa, which is a Mexican restaurant. And at night, they turn it over to a club where they're kind of doing like housey and techno stuff, like Techno Taco Tuesday.
I
Yeah.
used to go to that. It was somewhere else. I can't remember.
It was at another Mexican restaurant.
Yeah.
But they moved over to this new spot. And so they're doing their thing over there. We All Scream, huge club in the middle of downtown. I forget.
And that's where you play.
sometimes. Yeah, that's where I play. I'm there Fridays and Saturdays. Which
Where the DJ booth's like an ice cream cone. Am I
yes, the DJ booth is a giant ice cream cone. It's an ice cream themed nightclub. You can get ice cream there, also with vegan options in case you're lactose intolerant. Like
Oh,
Fuse.
okay, great. Because I would just have to get my ice cream and stand in line for the
You're
bathroom.
just gonna have to get the ice cream and leave. I'm not gonna lie, there because I live downtown. There's been a night or two where I've just literally gone to the club to get an ice cream and leave. Like on my days off, like pop in on a Wednesday and they're like, "Here, you here to party?" I'm like, "Just here to get a scoop. I'm out of here. See you guys later."
So
That's awesome.
you do have your residency at We All Scream, but
Yeah.
since it is the same group, you can move around or
So like during the warmer seasons, they'll book me for brunches at some of their like restaurant places like Peyote and Park on Fremont. I'll do brunches. I'll do guest spots at other parties within the company and stuff like that. It's not an agency, so they don't like hold you, like you're exclusive to us. It's just a company that owns a lot of bars, you know.
Right.
But as far as downtown goes, I mainly only play with them.
And the vibe, the music that you were playing, at least for what I saw, was sick, man. You were playing the main, I guess not the main room, but kind of right when you
So we
walk in
used to
that first
play,
room.
yeah, that first room, like the main bar. So what we for most of the year since opening for like the first 9 months, they had us upstairs in the cone, and it was mainly house and disco house. And we did that up until the winter. It gets cold and they slow down. They start closing early. So they decided, well, you know, we don't have a DJ in the main room. We just have a playlist going. The 2 rooms that have DJs are in the backyard with the ice cream truck, upstairs with the ice cream cone. But you know, it's cold. Those are both outdoor spaces. We kind of want to like get a vibe going in on the inside. So they built us a DJ booth. They told us basically like funk and disco because that's what the playlist was. So we're like, cool, like we're the guys for that. We can do that, no problem. But it's 4 to 5 hours, you know, of funk and disco. And you were there. It's mainly like 21 to 25-year-olds in that
Yeah.
building.
Yeah.
So like I don't know how long we can keep a vibe when
Right.
these guys were born, these kids were born in 1999, 2000. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if we
I've
if I
been
can hold
playing
them.
more. I've been playing more house and more disco house and just disco vibes. But I'm with you. I mean, 4 or 5 hours is nuts.
It's a lot for any. I think that's a long time for anything. So I'm thinking, all right, well, you know, it took us a while to find a groove, but we essentially landed on just throwback in general. Basically anything prior to 2000, I don't know, 10. So, which is crazy that that's even considered throwback, but here we are. So we do a lot of like sample into the song type shit. A lot will go into like a funk segment or like a disco segment, and then get back into like some throwback hip hop and R&B. Later in the night, once it gets to like 2 a.m., we get a little more dancey, a little more housey, but still throwback stuff. So I'm playing like, you know, some of the tracks I named earlier, Armand, Masters at Work, getting into that kind of shit. And then like the last hour, we're like 90s boom bap rap just to close the night out for them. Like, so we're literally just all over the fucking place.
Fun.
Sounds like a party I want to go to.
It's a blast,
Yeah.
man. It's crazy to me. And that's what I was saying earlier. Like, I'm in a very unique place as a DJ professionally where I can, all of my gigs are basically like this, where
Yeah.
they're like, okay, Neek, go in there and do your fucking thing. Just play what the fuck ever you want. The only rule I'll get sometimes is like certain rooms will be like, okay, just clean edits. Like, just make sure you're not, you know, dropping N's and F's everywhere. All right. Like, so it's a unique thing. It's a low responsibility rooms.
Yeah.
That's what I like to call it, where I'm not playing for bottle service rooms and shit like that. Like, I'm not playing big like mega clubs where it's like, if you suck, people leave and now we make no money. It's like
Right.
middle loungy areas. Don't get me wrong. I can't wait till I'm back in a fucking, I'm on the top, on the roof, but you know, for now I'm good at the main room where I get to get open.
What those almost the collection of all the rooms reminded me of is 90s 2000s warehouse house parties.
Yes.
It's like I'd love to know his background. You know, is he just going,
You know what's crazy? Musically, he's like a jam band guy.
okay,
Like
but
Grateful Dead.
but vibe wise, I feel like it's just like you had to have the egg to find out where the fucking party was, you know?
Yes, and that's what We All Scream reminds me of. It's like, it reminds me of like those liquid rave type, and maybe it's just all the graffiti and the art.
Still
You know,
walking up the
walking up
stairwell
those
and
stairways, and you're seeing
yeah.
all the drippy smiley faces, and
Yes,
it's like, this is sick. This is like some 90s acid house type vibes.
totally. Even disco pussy with just like the plain walls. And then, you know, I was saying it the other day, is just random plants on the stage, which is the
Yeah.
tightest ever. I was really digging it.
And just a killer. It's like a black room with just a fucking punch you in the face ass sound system. Like,
yes.
I
Yep.
love disco pussy. The Void sound system is like a wall of sound, and you feel it in your heart from the back of the room. Like, it's the best.
Yeah, it was almost louder in the back of the room than it was when we were standing right in front of it. You know, we went to the back and it travels.
one of the best reviews they got like a Google or a Yelp review. It was a 1-star review, and it said floors are sticky, horrible people, and the music is so loud you can't hear yourself think. And they basically turned it into like an advertising campaign.
That's amazing. Yeah, love that.
Like, that's a perfect fucking review for a techno club.
Yeah, totally. It's so tight.
Yeah, I think it's cool that what the company is doing in terms of like everything is kind of like it's got its like theme or its niche and
Yeah.
like but at the same time it's like they're still not sparing any expense. Like if you go into these places, like they're nice and they're cool and well thought out, and like the decor is like it feels high end when you're in them. It doesn't
Yes.
feel cheap or like
And that's
like
100% what usually is the case downtown. And I say
Yeah.
usually like 15 years ago. Like, these places may have been nice when they first opened, and then, it being downtown, which is still the hood, it's like, it's gonna go to shit. People, you know what I mean? But no, the quality of everything is the no expense spared. The gear is always like perfect.
Oh,
Yeah.
the
I
don't have
gear
to
and the
look-
sound.
The sound is
I
like
was
and that's what I was
impressed.
saying. Like they care. Like they're not like there's importance, no expense, like no corners cut. Like we're best gear, best sound, DJs are taken care of because they realize that that's important. Like that's going to bring quality to them. Yes, it's a big investment up front, but there's nothing worse than having to show up to the club with a pack of Starburst because this fucking mixer from 1998 doesn't have fader knobs. You know what I mean? We don't have to worry about that shit there because
the
they
old
just have it.
Starbucks or Starburst on the crossfader trick, huh?
Like with none of that shit around here. If I tell them, yo, this fucking fader's fucked up, they swap it. Like, and then it's
That's
fixed
awesome.
next week.
Let's talk some music, and then we can do talk a little about the podcast as well. So we're gonna roll this video, and then we will talk some music.
Hey, Drew and Fuse, Kermit the Frog here. When I'm not dealing with my pain-in-the-ass wife, Miss Piggy, I like to talk and sing with my friends. What's your top songs? A new personal favorite of mine is this. It's the Drew and Fuse Show, the Drew and Fuse Show, and they clean up nicely, because usually they look like shit. Yay!
All right.
Still
I
makes me
like that Kermit's banjo went from a guitar to a bass. Get you a couple bass licks at the end. I'm a huge like Sesame Street Jim Henson guy.
Okay.
I love the Muppet Show and Sesame Street. Just growing up on that shit, so it's funny that you guys have Kermit on here.
My
So-
first job was at the Sesame Street General Store in
No shit.
the mall, and yeah, I was the stock boy, so I would just go in the back and I would get all the shipments and I would stock everything.
That's
and
rad.
I had so much Sesame Street shit, just
That's
tons
so
and tons
sick.
of Sesame Street shit.
We got the connect. If you need that Kermit drop, we can hit him up for you.
You know the man. You know.
We
Kermit.
know. We know.
We can set you up with Kermit.
we can hook you up with Kermit.
a big
He's not cheap. That's for sure.
Oh
He's
shit.
not cheap. But yeah, so we want to talk a little bit about music. Usually what we do is we talk open the Serato and talk the top 5 most played, but we can just talk some of the songs that you've been playing that are big for you, or songs that you enjoy playing even.
Let's see. I'm gonna open the Serato and see what we got here.
Some people are always shocked to see what their top plays are. And
Yeah, I'm curious as what mine would be. You
You
know
could-
what? I bet I could tell you right now. Like, Blow the Whistle, the Nick Bike edit.
With the
Bad Girls,
disco.
Yep.
Yeah.
Play the fuck out of that. That one always gets a positive. Who made? Was that Nick? Nick made another one with the Doja Cat. Say So. That one gets a
Okay.
lot of plays for me.
And what did he do to that one?
Good Times.
Okay.
Chic. Good Times. My Serato is still loading. I don't even know how to find my top played songs on Serato. Is it in history?
no, so as
Oh,
long
you
as
just
you're
put
on-
it in order of plays.
Yep.
Let's see.
So I have found a bug. The bug is on the mixing key. When I run it through mixing key, if it doesn't already have a key, it'll throw some crazy number. So if it's
Okay, I mean, this is crazy because a song. Okay, I'm just gonna assume that's a mistake because I think because it says I'm like 1,000 times of Snoop Dogg. What's my name? Who am I?
yeah.
And this particular download I just got like a week ago.
Right.
That's probably the glitch then.
Yeah, so I'm like, that's crazy. But Lucy Pearl and Snoop Dogg,
Okay.
so he's still there. There's
Yeah.
Doja Cat, Say So. Parliament, Flashlight. There I have an Outcast and Patrice Russian mashup. Forget Rosa Parks not. So Forget Me Nots and Rosa Parks.
Really?
Oh,
I need that.
That's an oldie. That's an old mashup. I'll send you that one. DJ Vajra. I have no idea who that is.
Vajra.
Vajra, yeah.
It's
That
Chris
is-
Carnes.
Yeah, Chris Carnes.
Carnes. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Yeah, that was
Yep.
his original handle when he won the DMC.
Yeah.
No shit. Yeah, this is his.
He's the DJ. He DJs for like Pretty Lights now and stuff.
Wow. Yeah. Well, yeah, this is I play his Forget Rosa Parks Not almost every night.
I played at the party. I made a banjo only edit of Rosa Parks. So it's hook, banjo, and then it might go back into the hook. Yeah, but that's the come on, because
Your
the
set
banjo's
had me
solo.
laughing all night, bro. Your whole set was one punchline. It was TV theme, fucking Buck Cherry. Like,
Oh man.
The banjo only set, dude. That's the edit.
That's fire.
Is that banjo is that's like my favorite part of the whole song.
Oh, the Rosa Parks Get Down part, the bridge.
Yeah.
I
I guess not a banjo. It's it is banjo with a harmonica. Yeah, it's
like the
right,
claps. It's very bluegrass.
Yeah,
It's cool.
So tight. Yeah. Anyways, I digress. And then honorable mentions or songs that you like to play, maybe like a record, maybe a popular record or shit that you're grabbing for if you're at home.
Songs that in rooms that I don't play, but I love that Ice Spice, Boy's a Liar, or He's a Liar, whatever it's called.
That boy's a liar.
That boy's
Before
a liar.
that right when that song hit, my daughter started playing it and it's on repeat to and from my house to school. Drop her off.
That's so
Is
fucking
that song and SZA. That's about all she plays.
I'm trying
SZA,
to figure out
that.
if it's actually a hit and see if you guys agree with me. I'm curious to see what you guys think of this because every DJ now every editor has made an edit of this song, and
it's number one on Spotify.
Okay, so it's a jam because
Yeah.
I'm like, do people actually like this song or just DJs making edits of it and I'm being forced to listen to it?
No, it's number one.
I'm so disconnected with like what's popular because I'm just so in my own shit that I forget. Like, and I'm like, is this actually a jam? Like, am I playing a song that like the masses like, or is this just me? And I be wondering. So I'm like, okay, it's number one on Spotify. It's actually a jam. Cool. I'm not alone. That's
It's
a popular song that I love.
Happy hardcore light, right? Hardcore light.
Yes. Like a little lightweight. Yeah. Like happier hardcore.
Right. All right. So that then anything else?
Song?
Or stuff that you grab for in the record collection.
Dude, I am one of those people that never gets tired of Prince. My favorite producer is Battle Cat, so I love listening to Battle Cat songs. I cannot wait. I hope one day there's like a Battle Cat best of compilation, so we just get like all his best songs, all his beats. And I've been listening to that like religiously. Today is De La Soul Day. I mean, by the time this comes out, it'll have been De La Soul. So I'm hoping to get to listen to Balloon, Mind State, on Spotify later today. Like, it's funny because now I was just explaining to somebody who's like an aspiring DJ last night that I am friends with, and she was like talking about how, like, you know, DJs are just like, you know, I noticed the professionals, like, they all kind of play the same stuff, and I was like, yo, it's funny because like that's the job, you kind of have to. And you know, the whole trick is to sandwich your taste in there. I was like, but when I leave the club, like, if I first of all, I don't want to listen to music in my spare time anymore because
Right.
I only listen to music, and it's ruined how I listen to music because all I think about is, will this work in the club? And if I'm like, this won't work, I change it now. So I have to turn the DJ off because before it was like everything got mixed. Before I was DJing professionally, if I liked a song, I was DJing it just because
Right.
it's fun. But
Yeah.
now it's whatever. But in my spare time when I'm just listening to music, like for leisure, it's fusion jazz. Like, I love fusion jazz, like Herbie Hancock, Johnny Hammond, all like that kind of shit, like funk jazz fusion. That's my shit. So I'm in that rabbit hole right now.
Don't you miss the early days of when you were a DJ and the green, like the not knowing, or the you weren't paying attention as much to, like, as if people were dancing or not, and you were just playing songs. I miss that all the time.
I miss hearing things for the first time. I miss being excited about mixing songs. I've always wanted people to dance. That's the thing. Like, I've always wanted people to dance. Like, so my sets are pretty dance focused, but I miss not caring. Yeah, I miss not like worrying about the reception of something. I miss when I could sit in my room and be stoked to record a mix of a really obscure genre that isn't necessarily like up tempo and dancey, but just like good and chill, but like cool music. And people, like my friends, would be like, "Oh, this is really cool." Like, you know, the friends want to come over, and like you'll have like the homies and some girls come over and just smoke and chill while we're just fucking jamming out to like reggae and fucking jazz.
I it's one of those things where it's like, you know, you obviously want people to dance, but I miss the not caring as much. Now it's like you can not, like, I can feel like when the vibe is weird in the room and it's like time to
Yes.
switch it up, and it's like for example, like, people just suck too, and that so much has changed in the last 10-15 years of DJing. It's like we had just gotten back from Vegas, you know, the party, and my first gig back here, I have been playing for maybe 45 minutes. I'm playing like up tempo, but like more chill up tempo. The room just wasn't ready for like the party to happen yet. And like everybody's
Yeah.
kind of like grooving. And this lady comes up to me and she's like, "When are you gonna play something I can dance to?" And it's like, it's of course. It's like I knew this was gonna happen. I just got back from like a good DJ trip. I knew that somebody was gonna ruin this. And then I'm like, I will, like, I know what you want. Just give it some
I
time.
know what you're
Like,
asking.
yeah, yeah. And then, you know, she comes back up and she goes, "I haven't been out in 12 years." And I go, clearly you haven't.
Obviously.
I can tell. It's very obvious to me that you
It's
haven't.
very clear that
because-
you don't know how to act in front
yeah,
of a
yeah,
person.
yeah. But like at that point, I was already like, the room was kind of going when she came back up and she was like, "I haven't been out in 12 years. Like, when you gonna?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm not, unfortunately, like, I'm not playing for you, the person who's not been out in 12 years. I'm playing for the majority of the room who comes out all the time." And,
Like, be fucking cool. I'm gonna put a
Yeah.
fucking bookmark in this conversation because this is gonna be my grinds my gears thing.
Oh, all right.
Like, that's gonna be part of my rant because that's
All right, let's save the rant. I had the same chick come up last night, and she's like, "Hey, can you play Persian music?" And I said, "You know, I'm sorry if you've been here the last half hour, you just realize that's just not what I'm doing tonight, and I don't carry Persian music. I'm sorry, it's just not what I collect." "Okay, can I play it off my phone?" And I said, Did you bring your headphones?" She said, "Yeah, I've got my AirPods." And I said, "Perfect. Put them in and go sit at the bar and turn it up."
that's fire. That's
And-
fire. Just fucking turn on your fucking surround sound, noise canceling. Don't listen to
yeah.
me. Just do your thing. Why
throw
do
it
I
up.
even need to be here? You
No.
got it.
Go crush it. Go crush those AirPods.
Nobody else wants to hear it. Just
Then
you.
tell them the best part, because there's a kicker to this story today.
So then she comes up, and then is this the same? Well, I think it's part. So then she's mad at me because I told her basically to F off and die. And she goes, "How about the Arctic Monkeys? You look like you would listen to them." Well, I'm like, Thanks.
Like, first of all, bitch, I do. But look, don't be so
I'm-
presumptuous. It's rude.
it was just such an off the wall statement, you know. I'm
That's
like,
so funny. Like, that's such a like. I know what she was going for, and it's very funny. Like, oh, you're gonna ridicule me for listening to. I'm assuming she was some sort of Persian or close to it, and hits you with the wow. You don't have Persian music. Well, here's a white band, Mr. White Man.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you play them?
Uh,
It's like, first of all, I wasn't gonna play that either. But here's a little ham and eggs since you asked.
I was playing hip hop and everyone's dancing, you know. It's like I said, what Arctic Monkeys song are you thinking of? You know?
Yeah, like what do you
Wow.
just? I don't understand why people need to make requests. I don't get that. I don't understand that.
I have no
I
idea.
kind of understand it. Like when it's within reason, I'm like, cool, got you. Like if it's in the fucking vein, I'll play it next. No money needed.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah,
that's
of course.
perfect. I'm in this lane and you want to hear this song and it works, cool. I'll drop it right fucking now. But you hit me with like Persian music, Arctic Monkeys in the middle of a hip hop set. What are you even? Just leave.
The kicker is she messaged him on IG today if he
was
wanted to
the part.
DJ her wedding.
Yeah.
She came around. She came around.
She hit up the club looking for my info, and then
she's like, "Yo, that guy that was fucking rude. He's pretty good at what he does."
Yeah. She was like, I
Turns
want
out
him
I
to
had a
treat
good
all
time.
my guests at my wedding that way. So he plays only Persian music the entire time.
I'm gonna get his ass. He will play Persian music.
I'm gonna go so far. I'm gonna book
Yeah, this
him.
is actually just a long play. You
a
will
long
play.
play.
Persian
I'm
music.
telling you, that's what it is.
That's so fucking funny. Yeah, I miss being able to openly play what I want, which is why I have my party.
Let's talk party. Let's talk about your party. We're talking music anyways.
Yeah,
Let's talk about your party.
Paradise Fever Disco is funny because Paradise Fever Disco is what made me a professional DJ, which is I think how I got into this really cool position where I mostly play what I want for a living. Yes, there's times where I have to like be careful to air out a room because I'm not Steve Aoki, and if I play one song that the room doesn't like, the floor is gone.
Right.
Just like everyone else. But Neek Lopez did not get his name up. Paradise Fever got up, which brought up Neek Lopez. Does that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it started as a 4-hour mix that I did. Again, one of those little chill things where I just had, you know, some people at the crib and I hit record and I'm just playing like disco songs. I'm like, this is going to be a 4-hour, like, I'm just going to record and do this mix and we're chilling. And I ended up being a 4-hour mix.
So
and I was,
let me interrupt.
Yeah.
You are saying yourself what you want to do, right? You want to be able to still make these mixes, and you're basically the living proof of why you should still put out these eclectic mixes, because you did make something of it, and people still want to hear that shit. So,
I tell
anyways,
people all
I'm
the
giving
time,
you props
like,
on that.
thank you. I tell people all the time that are like trying to come up, I'm like, record mixes and nobody's going to listen to it. It's true. Nobody will fucking listen to it. But it just takes one person who's like, yo, this was fucking dope. Like, I would love to get this stuff here or hear it. Something like just one person to say they want to hear it, or like just somebody saying that they dug it. And now that's going to motivate you to want to do more. So this 4-hour mixtape I did of just like the deepest disco cuts. And I love disco. I love dance music. I was just like, I'm going to do specific, like deep dive disco. Ended up being 4 hours. I needed a name. I combined two of my two huge clubs from that era in Manhattan. So the Fever, which is where most like early hip hop acts got their start, and Paradise Garage. I just combined the names to make Paradise Fever and put it out. A couple of people were like into it, and I was like, yo, this would be a really cool party. I'm going to try and shop it out. And I brought it to just some whack ass venues. They let me do it. And they're not around anymore, but it was just like a venue that needed something. You know what I mean? I put it together. Nobody came. My flyers had a good idea, but they just weren't executed well. I was taking old albums and turning them into Paradise Fever flyers. So like erasing all the art. Like I did music, you know, jumping that cover with the 3 girls in the studio. Turned that into Paradise Fever. I did the Battlestar Galactica disco cover, made that a flyer, and they just weren't executed well. So like the artwork wasn't coming together. The idea was there, but it just didn't happen. Put it down for like a year just because we moved to a better venue, Artifice. We did it once, it didn't work. I just had like my coworkers. I used to work in a nightclub for like 12 years.
And you said you're not a DJ at this point, so what are you playing off of? Are you just as like a Spotify playlist, or you put
I'm a
records on? You're not
DJ.
mixing?
I'm a DJ, but I'm not professionally a DJ. Like I'm not
Okay.
I'm not doing it for. I've been DJing since I was like 15 or 16.
Okay.
I'm 33 now, and I didn't start professionally DJing until I was like 26. Like I didn't get paid
Okay.
for the first time until I was 26. Prior to that, I was just like a hobbyist bedroom DJ, buying
Yeah.
records and shit like that.
So you still know what you're doing, and you're mixing all this stuff, and it's a party. Okay.
Yeah. I knew how to mix. Like I knew how, and,
Okay.
whether or not, I didn't know the intricacies of party rocking yet because I never really have. I just played like cool little kickbacks in my crib or like made mixes for me and my friends, but never like a club. So once Beauty Bar got bought out by a different owner, and she was like, yo, we're looking to throw events. My cousin I just moved downtown. I was like, I'm going to pursue this DJ shit. I moved downtown, and my cousin's like, hey, Beauty Bar is my friend Roxy. She just bought it. Like, she's looking for events. Like, you should show her Paradise Fever. And I show it to her, and she's like, oh my God, I love it. Like, let's fucking blow this up. Like, let's get sponsorship. I have graphic artists. Like, they'll do it. So I'm like, oh shit. Now all of a sudden we have a team. And my cousin is like a pretty, accomplished makeup artist. And her roommate at the time was like a pretty accomplished model. So they ended up helping me like completely rebrand and make it this like mid-century 60s, 70s aesthetic. And then so our flyers would be like old travel ads, and we got sponsorship from Absolute Vodka, and just blew it the fuck up. Pride came, and we did like this whole like Pride thing. So we had like everybody decked out in like 70s roller boogie type outfits, and that's when it got its legs. So we started fucking up downtown, like just completely running amok down there with this disco party. Everybody started. We never once asked anybody to dress the part. Everybody just showed up dressed. Like people just kind of knew the assignment. We came dressed, but people came dressed. And I have a really good crew. Shout out to my House of Paradise and City Flavor crew. Like we all dressed up, and so everybody came. And that's when I ended up meeting Colin and Travis, Phenom and Jupiter, and a lot of DJs. Like randomly, like they all showed up, and they're like, who the fuck, who's throwing this party? It's like Crooked and fucking Jessica Who and everybody. Like this is how I got to meet everybody, was through this party. Fast forward, Beauty Bar ends up closing. So now I'm kind of in limbo.
And what room are you throwing it in? That main one where you're playing now?
Yeah. Same fucking place. It's funny. I make the joke all the time that like I'm literally back where I started.
Right.
So this 4-hour disco mix ended up becoming this, for a while we were at Commonwealth after that. And that's kind of how I got my relationship going with Corner Bar Management. Because I had played a few of their events, like opening for Mighty Mouse, rest in peace, and Melvo Baptiste, like their disco DJs. Then after a certain amount of time, we did Paradise Fever there. Probably did a few months there in their main room, like where you guys had the party. And I wasn't feeling it. It's a hard room to get going, like, because it feels too loungy. There's an abundance of seating, and I wasn't into that. And, they were growing as a company, so they wanted more in-house things, and I wasn't like part of the company just yet. So they had decided that, we're going to part ways, which is cool with me because I think it was time for growth anyways. And then the pandemic happened like the next month. So now nothing's happening. And so I was like, what am I going to do to keep this going? Early days of Paradise Fever, I left out. I did the mix, but I would also do streams on Ustream. I can't remember. Like, it was a streaming like social media app. I can't remember what it was called. Not Busker. Something like that though. I can't remember.
I don't remember
what it was called. We did Ustream, and then there was another one. But anyways, I would do streams on there. Lockdown happened, so I'm like, cool. Everybody's doing streaming. I'll do Paradise Fever on YouTube live. So we did that, and that was great. And then Twitch happened. Tried it on Twitch a few times, but I never really got it going on Twitch. And that's when I ended up getting with Mac. After the lockdown is when I got with Mac Agency. Eddie saw Paradise Fever, and he's a big fan of that era too, like 70s, 80s Manhattan disco era. And he's like, yo, and he's an East Coast guy. He's from Jersey, so he's nerding out. Like me, he met me, and we're like, yo, he's like, this party's great. I love everything about it, the aesthetic, the sound. And so we're geeking out, like talking music. And he's like, oh, you're on the same shit. You get it. Like, we got to do this. And the other partner in the agency has never heard of me, never heard of my party. And the agency just books DJs. They don't book events. So he's like, I don't know, Eddie trusts you, man. So we'll do it. We're going to do it on the record. And I'm like, oh shit, like this is much bigger than anything I did downtown. At this point, I had already accomplished what I wanted. I just wanted to have a cool party downtown, you know?
Right.
I just wanted to have my ghetto disco. And now we're going to Las Vegas Boulevard. And it's like, oh shit, okay, here we go. Like, and it's fucking killer. It was fucking insane. Like, and we just have this fucking killer party downtown. I mean, Las Vegas Boulevard and on the record. And we have the drummer from the Stone City Band do a live performance. So the Stone City Band is at Paradise Fever. That's Rick James's band, if nobody knows.
Yeah.
And that's like, for the music heads and the people who fuck with Paradise Fever, like we all know that this is. And that's what I loved about Paradise Fever. It's like all my friends, I grew up like breakdancing. That's the other half of my life is I've been a 20-year B-boy. So all my friends are like all B-boys and we listen to old music. So we see this and we're like, this is fucking cool. They're all pretty young guys and gals. So like, I don't think my agency understood, like, why do you have so many young people into this old ass music? It looks cool. Like you guys are making disco cool and sexy. Because you're all young and hot. Like this is crazy. Like you got girls showing up dressed up and like you never asked. Like that's what's crazy. We don't advertising dress up. People just want to do it. So we included like a best dress competition now, and we give away a bottle and a sash and flowers and the whole thing. But
it's
now it used to be monthly and now it's quarterly just because too much of anything will get old. And I don't want that. We have the ill merch.
So when does that happen? And
nothing in the books right now. We try to do it quarterly. When it happens now. It's not really on a schedule anymore. Usually I know like 2 months in advance because I mean we're all DJs here. Like the business end of it is that, you know, now it there's a certain price tag that comes with Paradise Fever. That's a different price tag for Neek Lopez. So, you know, it's we got to wait for the venues to be in a place to be able to say, okay, we need an event. So, and with on the record having these Usher and Silk Sonic after parties, they're not in need of events right away. So when the time comes, we have other venues that are interested and have paid for it and, you know, have shown interest and we've done successful events there. So we'll probably do like quarterlies with them. I think we have one coming up in the next month or two. We're just waiting for like a solid commitment and then we'll start rolling out marketing.
Nice.
Amazing. I'd love to come out the next one.
Yes.
Dude,
I would love to have you guys.
That'd be
I'll keep
amazing.
you guys in the loop for sure. It's crazy. It's so bizarre to me that this is working. It's so bizarre to me that this ever got to happen. It's still like this ghetto ass disco party that I've like DIY'd everything. Like we used to like build this DJ booth with like fucking fake palm trees I bought on OfferUp. I would take the confetti sticks from my job. I worked at Omnia for a long time. So like the confetti sticks they use for the bottle prezos. I would take like 10 of them home. And then like we didn't have cryo or anything like that. So we would have like our girls like flick it at the top of like a big crescendo of a song and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was just very like we were doing our own art. We did all of it was very like punk rock, but disco.
That's what I love about it. It's the DIY aspect of just doing what you think is tight, and people are there that want it, man. That's why I'm saying you shouldn't give up on those mixes that you want to do that are just cool. Somebody out there wants to hear it, you know. So
somebody out there wants to hear it, and I think the more obscure, the better. Like, especially even DJs who are like accomplished and doing their things and into work, like guys like us, like I even stopped doing mixes, and that's kind of my thing. Like I think we all should really be like taking a step back and making the opportunity to play the music that we genuinely love. If like 80s fucking hair metal or is your thing, like fucking make the mix, bro. Like somebody else fucks with it. Like DJ that shit. I know it sounds silly. I like disco, dog. Like literally the goofiest, flamboyant, corniest genre of music ever. But like you kind of have to do it to show people that it's cool.
Disco never, I almost feel, didn't get its shine, right? It just, people wanted to, it blew up so fast that people wanted to bring it down and trash it right away. So I think this resurgence is because it was cool, and you know, it just, like anything, people get a hold of it and make it corny or ruin
completely
it,
demolish it, run it to the
but
ground.
there was a lot of cool shit about it. People are taking those parts of it. Yeah, totally.
Like something cool comes up, and then you find out people like it, and then you run it to the fucking ground.
Yeah.
I always tell everybody, like when they're like, "Oh, it's a disco party," who doesn't know about it, and they're like, "Oh," and they're iffy. I'm like, I promise you'll have a great time. Like you will be dancing. I have like guy friends from work who I've gone out with and drank with who don't dance. Like guys dance. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's everybody likes disco. You just don't know you like disco, or you might not even realize that the songs you like are actually disco songs.
Right.
It's just up tempo R&B. That's all it is.
Yeah. It's true.
And nobody knows. Go ahead.
I threw a couple Studio 54 parties at a venue that Drew played at here in town, where we did a whole themed disco night. This is a while ago. This was 2014. And I just want to say it takes a lot of work to throw your own party and then curate the music and do all the stuff. I had so much fun doing those, but you know, when you're DJing weekly on top of like weekly and daily, you know, multiple times a week, and then to coordinate all that, it takes a lot to make it work. So props to you for keeping it going. I'll have to send you some of the pics from those parties.
It is not. No, it's not fucking easy, man. Like, and that's when my schedule started getting more full, is when it was like, okay, we need to do it less, because I don't have the energy to do all of this for like it to be a bust 1 month. You know what I mean? Like to have a slow one, like that's a waste of time. You know, I want to build the demand. I want people to be excited about it. I want people to be like, oh shit, Paradise Fever is happening. We got to go because we don't know when it's coming back.
Right. I know you said you might move the location. I've always thought a dope party would be at a roller skating rink. I don't know how many of them still exist.
Roller skating rink.
Yeah.
We don't have anyone that's in a cool location.
Okay.
We only have 2 roller rinks out here. The coolest one is Floyd Mayweather's. He bought out Crystal Palace, which is like a classic out here, and he bought it and turned it into Bounce Rock City or something like that. Something like that. But they have like adult night on Thursdays where only adults can come skate, and it's like all the roll bounce guys are in there getting it. I would love to do it there. I think that shit would be cool as fuck. We've done it a few times at Rum Bar at the Mirage. And that may be where our home is for a little bit. And it's been a blast. It's cool. It's a beautiful, like mid-century designed bar inside of the Mirage. And we've done it there twice now, and it's been a fucking hit. So I think that may be our home for a little bit. I'm working on getting the small venue next door to We All Scream, Cheap Shot. The aesthetic is it's modeled after a French discotheque. So it has like a stage, and they do like shows. And we've done Paradise Fever, like a small version of Paradise Fever in there. And so what I would like to do is eventually do an all vinyl version of Paradise Fever at that place. And we usually don't start there till midnight. So it'd be like an after hours thing. So like all vinyl, very small venue, like 70 people, like Lucky Day size almost.
Yeah.
A little bit wider, so it's not as uncomfortable, but
that place was tiny. Getting down there.
Lucky Day drives me nuts. It's too small. It's always been that way. Even when the venue prior, it's that narrow walkway from the bar to the wall. It's driving me nuts. I hate it.
Speaking of things that are driving you nuts, I'm going to play this video here, and we're going to do a 60-second rant.
Hey, Drew and Fuse. Peter Griffin calling in. I want to hear what really grinds DJ's gears. You know, besides from Bad Bunny requests from a phone or DJs stealing custom mashups of YMCA and Macarena and using it on their own TikToks. Hey, this week's guest, what grinds your gears?
All right, we're gonna put.
I've never seen the video part of this, and I didn't realize you used the Roadhouse episode as the video.
That's one of Fuse's favorite
I
movies
love
of all
the
time.
Yeah, that's
It's one of my favorites. Yes. All right, we're gonna put 60-ish seconds on the timer here, and we'll start ranting. So whenever you feel like going for it, go for it.
I don't hate requests. I hate rude people making demands. I think people forget that as a DJ, I'm still just a guy at work, and people will come up and ask for a song and then get mad if I don't have it, or if I don't want to play it, or if it just doesn't fit the vibe, or like I tell them that I'll play it later and they get upset. And they're rude about it, kind of like your experience you had, Drew. Like that kind of shit, I have a very low, I don't know, patience for, and I try to be graceful, but fuck, man, some people are just fucking awful. As a black DJ that likes to play house and dance music, I especially hate when people give me shit for not playing top 40 rap and R&B. I've had people say shit like play your people's music. I've had like complete trash takes like that. I especially hate the other side of that, where people just assume that I play open format because I'm black and Mexican, like because I'm not white, and like that now it's dance music has to be a white thing, and I can't be a black man in that field, and that's something that happens a lot. But the request thing is the worst. Like, you don't have to stay in this room. If you come in this room and you hear the vibe and you're not feeling it, like, don't ask me to change it. Fucking leave. Like, I'm not going to change the vibe of this space, especially when it's going well, because you don't like, you could literally go somewhere else.
Yes.
That's the biggest one. Like, I think more than anything, don't ask me. I'm not changing anything on behalf of you, an individual, because you're rude, especially. That, like, fuck out of here.
There we go.
Or put your AirPods on.
Put your AirPods on.
Put your AirPods on.
Put your AirPods on and go fuck off. The two ones I hate the most: play something that I can dance to.
Oh God.
Just say you can't dance. Just say that. Or like, because what the fuck? I don't know what you like.
They're just saying that I hate everything that you're doing right now is really
just say it.
Different
Honestly,
way of saying
just say that even. Like, I hate everything you're playing, because then I'm like, oh well, shit, I'm gonna be here all night. So just a heads up, I'm not leaving, so you might want to reconsider where you're at.
You're in luck.
You're bad day for you. I'm the guy today. So yeah,
that's number one. What's number two?
I'm trying to remember now. Now I forgot. I got sidetracked.
Sorry.
You're fine. It's what the fuck is it? Yeah, it'll come to me. Fuck it. But yeah, that's probably the biggest one. Play something that I can dance to, or I love what you're doing, but, and then it's like something completely else.
Yes.
One of the best requests I've ever got at Paradise Fever, After Life is Beautiful. This girl comes up to me and she's like fucked up clearly, and she's like, "Don't you want to play Sicko Mode?" When it first dropped, she was like, "Don't you want to play Sicko Mode?" And I kind of laugh and I look at her and I'm playing like it's some disco as fuck song, probably playing Boogie Shoes or something, and I'm like, when do you think that I'll play that? Like when at what point of this song do you think I'll come into Sicko Mode? Have a look around, my girl.
Yeah. You're actually at my party. Everybody's here because of me.
Like the sign says disco. So
go somewhere else, please.
Yeah, wrong place. It's very early. You can get in anywhere.
When people are like, "I love what you're doing," but usually it's always a female. Men usually don't go that route, and then I always go, "You just don't hear the word no that often, do you? You're surrounded yourself by or you know how to get what you want.
Yeah, I'm not your fucking parents. Like, you don't gotta butter me up. Fucking ask what you want, and I can say yes or no. I hate the fucking tiptoeing around your
the
fucking
dance.
stupid ass song. Just tell me you want to hear your fucking Bad Bunny. Just say it. Let's just fucking say it. It drives me nuts. I love what you're doing, but I would love it if could you maybe like or a dude like, hey man, it's always something stupid. The dudes always have the worst requests. Dudes will be like, yo man, it's my girl's birthday. Can you play Suavemente? Fucking no.
I would say 95% when a guy comes up to ask for a request, he's asking for whatever the newest Drake is, and or he thinks he's clever and requesting Return of the Mac. Like, that's how it always is.
Dude, I had a
What?
dude not too long ago come up to me and he's like, look, this is gonna sound weird, but I think you should play the song from Free Willy. And I was like, no, I'm not. Like, I did. Usually, I'm like, if I can make it work, I don't know, man. We'll see. Something like I try to like leave some hope. I was like, no. He's like, look, I'm just saying. Sometimes it works if you go outside the box. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Like, as if he like.
What song is that? I don't even know.
Like what is the Michael Jackson?
Yeah,
song?
I was gonna say, is it the Michael Jackson song where like Free Willy jumps over the wall finally
Yeah.
at the end?
Shut up, bro. Go home. You obviously.
Yeah, it
Again,
is.
you haven't been outside in a while. Or I hate when you're like doing a thing, you're in a pocket, and some people are into it and some people aren't. I play a lot of restaurants these days, lounges. I'm doing a
love
thing,
lounges.
so I'm going to a new place, and then I go to the new place and they like this place more than the old place, and they're you woo. Like I hate the condescending cheers.
The
Woo,
condescending
yeah,
cheers.
just fucking stay. Yeah, now you're doing it. Now you're doing it. Like, because I dropped like Post Malone mashup or something.
Yeah.
Like, shut up.
Even,
fucking end
even
this
for
song
me, it's
right
like
now.
just say please or thank you. Like when you can just come up
Dude,
and you're just like, you should do this, and I'm like, is that how you
That's
talk to people
what I was
always?
saying. Like, DJs are people at work. I don't come to your job and fucking make my fucking drink, and no, I'm not giving you a tip. Like,
Oh, Drew
do
does
it
that
now.
actually.
No, just like, yo, may I please have fucking almond milk with my latte instead, please? Yeah, no problem. Or
So
no,
as
we
Drew
don't carry
Pierce,
out. Like,
and I want my order to go right now. And
As
you're
a
not getting
non-drinker,
tip.
though,
pour it into my fucking mouth and don't ask for a tip.
Neek, as a non-drinker, if you get a diet Coke or that diet Red Bull at the club, are you giving them a tip?
Diet
Yes.
Red Bull.
Yes.
What if it's like a soda fountain?
If it's just a soda drink, no.
But
If
why?
they have the audacity to charge me for it, no.
This is what I'm saying is what's the reasoning behind
what's the
reasoning behind what we think? No for a soda, yes for a Red Bull, yes for a beer popping the top.
That's kind of crazy. But
you know?
maybe it's just the service industry in me. I've worked in clubs for 12 years. I know the hourly rate accommodating for tips. So you're not making much on that check. Your whole living is tips.
I tip very well. I actually am a big tipper. My problem is,
but I hear what you're saying though. Like Starbucks, what's the difference between Starbucks and McDonald's? They serve less food, like they probably do less work. So I hear you. Like, and Starbucks, it's not like I'm going to like a mom and pop coffee shop where they're like taking time to like brew their own coffee or roast their own beans, and like they're like all-star baristas. At Starbucks, they have the machines that are doing it for them. So like, and they're heating up muffins. So like, why does that deserve a little grind my gears again? I don't like the machines that give you the auto percentage.
Yes, that's what.
And if you're gonna do this,
yes,
my options should be 15, 18, and 20, not 18, 20, and fucking 25.
Oh yeah.
If you go over
1000%.
20, that's fucking audacious of you. Like, you're tripping. Like, you can't assume that somebody's. And I don't like when they put them in reverse order, 20, 18, and 15. Like, it should be lowest to highest. Because now you're just tricking people. That's fucking rude.
The Starbucks, at least, I think they had it 1, 5, and 1, 3, and 5.
Oh yeah,
maybe.
like at Starbucks or a lot of other coffee shops, they just hit me with $1, $2, and $3.
Yeah.
They're not audacious to hit me with a percentage.
Yeah. There you go. Well,
There it is.
You got a 2 for that one.
you got a twofer.
Honestly, I could do this all day. I could do a whole podcast about shit I hate.
I could probably do that as well because I am a hater by nature, apparently, according to some people that listen to the show. But one of the other things we want to do, and this last segment we want to hit with you is the sauce, and the sauce for us is a takeaway. Something you would tell your younger self, something you want today's listeners to get out of the show.
Yes, the sauce.
Yeah, it's like
zhuzh.
throwing your own party, putting it all into it, being you, being true to
Yeah.
yourself. Like
Being unapologetically yourself.
Hold on, we're gonna
hold on.
Oh, we
hold that
we have a-
thought. We got a video, and then we'll
Okay.
get into it.
The name is Bootsy, baby. And this shout out goes out to Drew and Fuse, all the way from Cincinnati to the LBC Bobble. Yeah, I was told you guys are quite the chefs, and you got a delicious sauce that you cook up. Ooh, and it drips that swagoo and breaks down the recipe. Yeah, and you giving up the P, cause it's funky. As in good, that is, finger funkin' good. On the one by the power of the one. Yeah, without that, there is none. So get yours and be in tune with the one that loves you. Get it, baby.
All
Yo,
right, there's
he
Bootsy,
sounds
and
pretty good.
that's the real guy.
Recipe,
the real
bro.
Bootsy.
Recipe, bro.
Yeah, the recipe.
That's the real Bootsy. There,
That's the real. Yeah, that's Mr. Collins himself.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the Riz, the sauce, I think that I would tell my younger self is definitely like just stay unapologetically yourself. At some point in your life, you're gonna feel like you need to contain that and to be kind of like to fit a little more with what's going on and with other people and what is working for other people. And I think I would tell everyone to continue to go left. Continue to do your thing, lean into your interests, lean into your style. If you're a really fucking fresh person and you like know you're fresh, but you dress weird because you're not like everyone else, like stick to it. Don't be afraid. I think these days it's a little easier to do that. Because that's what's going to be what sets you apart and what makes you unique and what makes people interested in seeing you. Because just regular middle of America 9-to-5 people don't get to see people like that often, and you are a spectacle just being unique. Stick to your taste, believe in your intuition. You're gonna fuck up, you're gonna be wrong sometimes, but that's okay. And specifically if you're a DJ, fucking throw a party, do an event. Like, do not be one of those people who completely and entirely rely on being booked by other people just to get booked, and that's your fucking job. Like, you may get to that point and that's fine, but you have to make something happen. Like, you have to get the ball rolling yourself. Nobody's just going to give you a chance based on nothing, so you have to create that opportunity. And I think creating a party is like just a no-brainer, easiest way to go, but it's got to be fresh, it's got to be unique. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, but you got to do something specific and do it well, do it with intention, do it with purpose. Yeah, that's, I think, is the Riz, man. That's the sauce.
I agree. I love it.
Awesome. Well, the one last thing we wanted to bring up before we wrap up here is just that you're on another podcast every week with Phenom and Jupiter Williams, and
Yeah.
If you guys want to listen to that, you guys can hit up Neek. You can find their podcast on DMS as well. We just wanted to ask you, what's been one of your favorite episodes or two that you guys have done on the show?
Oh my God. 5-on-5 podcast, just three shitheads talking about music with a bunch of other DJ friends. What's one of my favorite matchups? So for those who don't know, the 5-on-5 podcast, the whole concept is we take two artists and compare their top 5 songs on Spotify. And we're at the mercy of Spotify, so it's always a weird pick. One of my favorite episodes has to be the first episode, Hall & Oates versus Outkast. It's so funny because this was like we started the show in the pandemic and we had no idea what we were doing with it. We didn't intend for it to be a podcast. We just wanted to make a Patreon and have like create Patreon content. And we tried to record the audio over the phone. Didn't work. So we like basically transcript, like just wrote it out. So it was just a long essay and posted that on Patreon. It's just the stupidest thing. Patreon is funny because it like makes you pay for every single piece of content you want to put out there. So anyways, we tried to do that. It didn't work. And that's how the whole thing started. But I still think that's like the funniest mashup ever because there's no rhyme or reason. And as time has gone on, I figured out that like me, Travis, and Colin all have like different ways of matching up artists. Where I like to like pick artists that maybe had a feud or like are closely related. Sometimes Travis will do like eras against each other, like this era versus this era. And Colin likes to pick two different artists that have zero relation to each other, like just fucking light years apart. And I'm always like, why did you fucking put them together? But it always makes like such an uncomfortable conversation because like why am I talking about Steely Dan and Gangstar? But here we are. And it's fun, man. It's a fucking riot. So please shout out to DMS, obviously, like Uncle Warren and everybody else. You guys, it's been a fucking blast. Just to even get anybody to listen to this show of us three idiots talking about nothing all the time.
I love your guys' show. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, make sure you do. Other than that, hit us with all of your socials and where you can find all of your stuff.
I am Neek Lopez on everything. You see my silly vinyl videos where I basically do record ASMR on TikTok. You can see me on Instagram. Posting a lot of DJ related stuff, me at this gig, me making fun of all of the people that live downtown, being weird. Find me on Twitter making rants about very specific DJ things. And yeah, that's where I'm at. And then 5-on-5 podcast on everything except for Twitter, 5-on-5 pod.
All right, there you have it. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us here today and chat with us, and it was awesome.
Thank you guys for having me. This is a blast. I'm glad we got to do this finally.
Yeah,
finally. Yeah, it's great.
And once again, if you guys are in the market for DJ edits, make sure you hit up directmusicservice.com. Use the promo code Drew and Fuse Show if you're looking for that fresh way to keep your beard looking nice. You know,
keep your
hit
facial
up Briggs
hair
Beard.
real nice.
Yeah. Hit up Briggs Beard Company. Use the promo code DAFS. And if you're interested in turning your party up to an 11, make sure you use their promo code link in the description of the video for Club Cannon. Also, if you haven't and you want to leave us a voicemail, you can. It's 562-246-YOLO. You can leave us a voicemail. We will air it on the show. We will play it. It could be a drunk dial. It can be a random thought about how much you hate Drew and I's faces and you just want to punch it. It can be anything on anything you want. We'll air it. We don't care. And that's going to wrap it up for today. So until next time, we'll see you later.
Peace.
Peace.